Hi all, welcome back to my channel. It's T2 here, and yeah, with a mid-2024 update for you guys. A few, nothing super major, but a few cool things to talk about. I have a small agenda here. I will get me the list. The first thing I'd like to start with, just before we hop in, is just per my last message. I did make an announcement recently, just regarding kind of the my engagement with the community. Basically, the Too Long Didn't Read version of that is, as this project grows, it is getting more attention, and the more attention we get, obviously, internet people will internet. There have been an influx in negative comments slash repeat questions that are just very basic. 99% of you guys know the goal of this project, and then there's the new ones that just come watch one video like, what is this about? Anyway, point is, it can be, I wouldn't say overwhelming, but to avoid being overwhelmed, I just need to take a small step back, away from how much I engage. Not disappearing completely, by no means, but again, this is a game that is very early in working in progress. Like we're still very close to Season 1 release, but there are still some vital things that need to be added before I can call this a complete game. Not a baby, but not a full game yet either. And I just gotta make sure I am staying focused and not getting caught up in comments from people that don't do research. But that's all. If you want to see the full note, just go to my channel and look at the recent announcements, and you can read all about it, including a timeline. I get lots of timeline questions. Guys, this is an unpaid project. Please don't ask me about timelines. There is no timeline when you're not paid. I will get to it when I get to it. Season 1 will release by the end of the year. That's the only timeline I have for you, is I'm shooting for end of the year. But if you do want to see kind of what, not timeline specifically, but what order I'm working on things between now and the end of the year, I did release my complete to-do list. It's not like a comprehensive, every single step by step, but it's the big things. Like if you want to know when jutsu are coming, I have it organized. This is when I'm working on jutsu. This is when I'm working on characters. This is when I'm working on story. I have it organized, just so that way, if you guys see a video that I post like today's and you're like, oh, well, where's this? Refer to that message. You have all the information there. Anyway, so without further ado, let's hop in. The first thing I'd like to talk about in today's update is I've added cheat codes. I've only added one code in so far, but basically I can put in exclusive commands here on the title screen and it'll activate a cheat. The first one that I've added, the only one I've added so far, is a dev mode, which basically, it can be frustrating when I have to like make a version of the game for myself to like test certain features, but then have to like turn those features off for public release. So what I've done is I've locked them all behind dev mode. So basically any mode or option that I need access to that I don't want to be public, I lock behind this dev mode. So obviously you guys don't know the command, but let me put in this command and you should hear sound effect when I'm done. So that confirmation means it worked. We are now in dev mode. So you won't notice anything visually, but basically what dev mode does, I will go to practice just to show you, because this one's the easiest. So first it gives me an unrestricted character select. So yeah, I can access any character or transformation from the character selection regardless of the mode. Obviously, you won't be able to normally start as characters transformed. It also gives me stuff like if I want to play as the same costume, I can. Or if I want to play as a Kumite exclusive, I can. You can't normally play as Oboro clone. So this will just be helpful in case when I do go to build their movesets for like Oboro, I can actually play as them and use their characters in regular modes to make sure they work properly. It also lets me test, obviously, if I just want to start off as a transformation, I can, to again develop their moveset or whatever I need. Another thing that I did want to mention while we're on this topic is obviously the question arises, will you be able to start a game as a transformation character such as Nine-Tailed Naruto? I haven't put too much thought into it yet because there will only be 2 transformations in Season 1, and both of them are really characters that you wouldn't really care to start as, which is Nine-Tailed Naruto and Sharingan Sasuke. So I just haven't put too much thought into it because it's not really something we would even really use much in Season 1, but what I am thinking is I may allow it to an extent. Maybe not every single transformation will be accessible, but maybe some. I don't know. Again, I haven't thought that far about it. But what I'm thinking about doing is perhaps with transformations, instead of what I may do is I may make all transformations as if they were viable standalone characters. And then what I'll do is in terms of like power buffs, instead of making the character themselves a buffed character, instead they'll be a normal character, and then if you upgrade your transformation mid-game, it'll add in handicaps. So if you guys didn't know, the handicap system is already programmed into the game. So what I'm thinking about doing is, let's say you start off as PTS Naruto, and then you transform into the Ninetales. This would add a, let's say, 10% increase to your attack power. I'm just throwing out numbers. A 10% increase in power, or maybe a 20% increase in attack power, but then you get a minus 10% decrease in stamina, meaning like you take more damage. So that's how it will work. So the incentive is if you play as base Naruto first and then transform mid-game, you'll then gain access to this power buff, which will be your incentive to not start as them. Because obviously I don't want people just picking the most powerful variant and then starting. But if you do just prefer, let's say maybe you're just really good at Nine-Tailed Naruto's moveset in general, buff or not, and you just like using that character's moveset over base, then you will have that option to start as Naruto in base, but he won't have any power buffs. It'll just be the raw moveset. So I may treat it like that, so then that'll give you an incentive for both ways. If there is a specific moveset you want to use, such as, for example, Sasori's case, maybe you just like using Final Form Sasori and you don't want to have to like wait till you're in Crisis and power up, you just like using his moveset. You can start as him in this form, but he won't have any special gimmicks about it. It'll just be his moveset. But if you do want to start as maybe Sasori or even Hiriko, I haven't added Hiriko's model in yet, but if you want to work your way up from Hiriko all the way up through this Sasori to the final Sasori, then now each layer you go up will add in another level of handicaps on top. So again, it may be worth going through the struggle, which is the way I really prefer the game to be played. Is the idea is that power struggle, you're going back and forth, and during that volley of back and forth of the power system, you keep powering up. But that's my ultimate goal. Anyway, for now, I have unlocked the character select. Another thing I've unlocked, I'll just pick 2 characters for now, is on the stage select. I just went on in-depth mode. I have access to all stages, even the ones that aren't finished. So I'll just kind of scroll through. Feel free to pause if you want to read one in specific. But these are all the plant stages for the Hidden Leaf Village. There's a lot of them. Some of them you may not recognize the name, like Training Grounds. These are all the stages that I'm planning for the Hidden Leaf Village, and a lot of them will have time of day changes as well on top of their standard forms, like Force of Death and the nighttime variant. So yeah, there will be different versions of these stages. Aun Gate. I have added in the Aun Gate just for now. Just so, again, sometimes I'm just like, it'd be nice to have a little change of pace. Like something visual to be interesting while I'm testing. So I just went on and added in. It was actually from the very old versions of the game. I still have the files from the very old versions of these stages. So what I did was I just actually imported that model into the leaf map. So it is still modified, and it is actually still in the open world leaf map, but it is very much so not going to look like this in the final game. Like, there are not supposed to be buildings in front of the main gate. It's a long story. I'm not going to go into that. But the Leaf Village is actually back there. The regular actual Leaf Village behind the buildings, which will be deleted when I actually start back working on the leaf map. But I was like, I kind of want to fight at the main gate stage. It's such a staple stage. So that should not be invisible. That's a bug. You see how that wall back there is invisible? I don't know why that's invisible. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, that's weird. So I'll have to do some digging on why that's turning invisible. Oh, I think I know why. There's it's probably joined to another material. That's probably what it is. Yeah, I think I know what the problem is. Anyway, cool. All right, that will be an easy fix because I know what's causing the issue on that one. But anyway, yeah, I just thought why not at the main gate, and the nighttime variant is also available. I actually did a old teaser of Neji and Lee fighting at the main gate at night in my last, back when I used to mod. So this is kind of a cool battle to like recreate, because in that one it was just a mod of G&T Special, and now it's actually like possible to actually play this fight. Yeah, I just like to, it's nice to incorporate some things like this sometimes to just, you know, change up the scenery while I'm testing movesets. Obviously, the next thing on the to-do list, if you guys looked at the list, is movesets. That's really the next thing to focus on, is getting the character-specific movesets in for Season 1. And so they will no longer use the dummy moveset. But yeah, I thought, you know, while I'm testing these, it might be nice to test these on some of these stages, on a new stage, and I thought Main Gate was a perfect candidate. Listening to music, you can probably hear the soundtrack. Nice. But anyway, yeah, that's enough on that. I'm rambling now. This video is getting long. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? On the topic of the character select, obviously you guys probably have seen in the last few games that, last few videos, that the Sound 4 are done in their base forms. So yeah, Kimimaro has 2 variants. That's how he starts, and then he transforms. He loses the sleeves, they kind of rip off. And then if you revert back, he'll obviously not, sleeves just can't teleport back. So anyway, there's 2 variants there. Toyuya, her 2 versions. Sakona Nukon. This one was kind of hard, because in the when they're transformed, they're both awake, so both of their heads are facing forward, but when they're not, their heads are back. So I really had to get creative in how I created this model. That one, Sakona Nukon, were definitely 100% the hardest model to make. But I pulled it off, and I think I did a decent job on them, making them look alright. Ukon's head and face is back there, and it does switch back here. Hiromaru was also pretty, I wouldn't say he was difficult. The main thing is just his model is complex due to the extra arms. And then, of course, Jirobo. Jirobo was probably the easiest, because he's really, the only thing I really did was, the only thing that changes about him is his hair and the textures. I got the textures from G&T Super, thanks team, and then, yeah, I just had to model his hair. And that's it. Yeah, wasn't super hard. He was the easiest. I'd say, Tsuyu and Kimimaro were about equal. They both were pretty complicated, but I got it done. Hiromaru, mainly just, he's a complex model. Sakona Nukon were for sure the hardest. And then, as you probably saw in my most recent announcement, I did add in 2 more Kakashi variants. I was just kind of thinking about Kakashi. Obviously, I got to make his moveset. And he currently has base mode, a Sharingan mode, and a Mangekyo mode. And I was like, how am I going to handle dual Mangekyo? Should I make that, like, how am I going to do that? And I just realized that you're not going to be able to I'm not going to be able to include dual Mangekyo as part of his base character. Like, I have to, because it's something I'm not doing his dual Mangekyo right now, but I just have to think about how I'm going to do Kakashi's character starting in Season 1, and I'm just like, I can't include dual Mangekyo, and unfortunately dual Mangekyo is a pretty key element in the final fight, and you just can't skip it. It's just not something that it's too important to skip. So I decided to add in dual Mangekyo as a second character. I'll add the scar on his outfit eventually when I get to that character development. But I went on and just added him as a character, added in the 2 Mangekyo in his eyes. Just why not? Go ahead and get him in the roster. So it's there since he's planned. And then while I was thinking, I was like, you know, on the topic of dual Mangekyo, also, at the very end of Shippuden, when he becomes a 6 Hokage, he doesn't have a Sharingan. And that model will be in the game because he loses the Mangekyo just after the Kaguya fight. So while he doesn't fight in Shippuden, I was like, well, the model's got to be in. We know from the last in Boruto he learns Purple Lightning, so I'm like, there's not really much point in not including him, so might as well throw his model in there and just make it, just remove the Sharingan abilities, basically, maybe add in the Purple Lightning. So why not? Again, it's just one of those things like, why not? The model's going to be in the game anyway, so why not just go ahead and just throw in a slightly different moveset just for the fans. And then we can get the 6 Hokage. Hokages 1 through 6. Thought it would be nice. He did show up at the end of Shippuden, so it'd be nice to go ahead and just throw him in there, you know, and have all 6 Hokage from Shippuden in here. So yeah, anyway, they're in the game, nothing special, just, yeah, obviously they still use the dummy moveset, but you can at least see their models are here. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is stages again, but this time in Hurricane Clash mode. So Hurricane Clash mode is open now, and normally you can only access the test stages and not the Leaf Village. But again, in dev mode, it gives me access to all stages, even in Hurricane Clash. Ooh, he's a cool character. Let's actually use Dual Mangekyo, because why not? Once again, you can play. I can play in dev mode any of the stages. We'll actually start at the Aun Gate. So yay, this is the first time the Aun Gate's playable in free roam. It's actually kind of cool to walk back here, because like it's always been something I've always wanted to do in the games, is run back here. And you've never been able to do that. To anyone who gets the reference, remember this place? One of the, actually specifically the second video I ever uploaded regarding Naruto was Test Video 2. You can see it in my Legacy Atsuchi 2 playlist, where a fight was allegedly happening on a new stage, which was right here. It showed Itachi fighting, I forget who was fighting. I think it was Itachi versus Naruto on the road to the Akatsuki hideout stage, guys. Dark days. But anyway, it took place right here. But now you can actually run out here for real. Anyway, yeah, it's cool to be able to like actually run around the main gate, Aun Gate area. It's obviously not modeled on this side, so it's not pretty to look at from any angle other than forward. But it is still cool to actually add inclusion and be able to run up here, or run through. Yeah. So the Aun Gates in here, and then like I say, these buildings are not supposed to be here at all. I just can't. This is just a quick import, so it's a long story. Anyway, I can't get rid of them, so they're just there for now while I have the test stage in here. Once I actually do the Leaf Village, I'll fix all of this. But yeah, the village is still behind here. This is actually at the main gate. And you can't see through the buildings this way. But yeah, the Leaf Village is still here in all of its low frame rate glory, as you can see in the bottom. That's partially why I did pause on developing it, because I was not achieving a high frame rate, which means I'm going to need to redo. I think I mentioned in a previous video, you see all those buildings underneath? I need to actually fix all of that. I need to get rid of all those extra polys, because that is not, they are everywhere, just hundreds of thousands of tries underneath the stage. I got to fix all that before this is going to be optimized, so I'm not going to continue progressing until I can address those things, which I can do now. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to briefly, again, like say, touch base on where the game is. It's in a decent spot, no known bugs at the moment, and I am getting ready to start I'm putting some serious effort into the animations, so I can get these Season 1 movesets done, which will include PTS Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Shikamaru, Choji Ino, Kiba, Hinata, and Shino, so the Rookie 9 in their rookie outfits. And it'll also include Kakashi, Iruka, Ebisu, and Mizuki, as well as Haku and Zabuza for the antagonists. And it will cover, each season covers 2 arcs, roughly. So season 1 will cover the graduation arc, which will actually be expanded upon. So it won't just be like failing a test. It'll actually, it's going to cover quite a bit. It'll spend a little bit of time with the rookies. Oh yeah, I also added in another stage over here. I'll go over there while I'm talking, but it'll cover the storyline with the rookies in the academy, and then the conclusion of that season will be Naruto graduating after he beats Mizuki. So that'll be the first half. And then the second half is the Land of Waves arc, which we all know everything about the Land of Waves arc. So over here is how you get to the third training field. But the path branches. If you come over here, this will take you to the area where you enter in the Forest of Death, and this will be a stage. I just decided to go ahead and add it because why not? Remember when Anko gave them debriefing before they went into the Forest of Death and they had to do the paperwork? Yeah, this will be a stage. She had a little run-in with Naruto here, so that'll be like a small little battle. Naruto's like, I will fight the proctor and pass the tuning exam. So she's like, no, you won't, kid. He's like, bet on it! And then they fight. And that's the stage. Obviously, it has no actual parts here, but other than the fence. But yeah, this will be the fence, and then you'll enter in the main, the Forest of Death here at some point, and work your way through to that tower in the center. But anyway, the stage is one of the stages in the roster, and of course, we all know the third training field. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, this is the game. This video is long enough. Thanks, guys, for watching, and hope to see you guys soon. Next updates should be on the animation front with some character-specific movesets for Season 1. Thanks all, and have a great day.